Today, I want to walk through a somewhat common character mechanic. Adding a mid-air dash is a great mechanic that can add some depth to your platformer, and it's easy to implement. In this video, we're just going to focus on adding the mid-air dash mechanic to your player and not on building the level. So if you need any help grayboxing some test levels, check out an earlier video where I show you how to quickly prototype levels using the grayboxing technique. I will add a link in the video description. Alright, let's get started. I have a very basic project set up here. I have a 2D node called world. I have a tile map that I used to prototype a test level. I have a basic camera setup, and then I have my player. For this project, I am just going to add 4 input maps. So if you go to Project, Project Settings, and then click on Input Map, you can follow along and add these 4 also. We are going to add Move Left, Move Right, Jump, and Dash. If you come over here and click the plus icon, you can set a key binding for this movement. So for move left, we're going to do A. For move right, we're going to do D. For jump, I'm going to do J. And then for dash, I'll just do K. And then you can close. Let's go inside our player scene. My player is a character body 2D, and I'm just using a sprite 2D for the body with the Godot icon that comes with every new project for my texture. The only thing I did here was I scaled down the icon to 0.3. And the last thing I have is a basic collision shape. Let's check out the logic here that is controlling our player, which for simplicity's sake, I have all contained in the player.gd script. Inside our player.gd, we have some export variables for our player. We have speed, jump velocity, acceleration, dash speed, friction, and air resistance. There's also a default gravity that comes set up in Godot projects. We have a direction variable to keep track of which direction you're moving. We are just using the basic Godot icon, so there is no animations, but you can use this variable to keep track of which way to flip your sprite. And last, we have a Boolean to keep track of if the player is able to do an air dash. For simplicity's sake, all of our logic is in the physics process. So we are applying gravity, we are enabling jump, and we are enabling the air dash. We are getting the input from the player movement, and then we're handling the movement, and we're changing the direction. And then lastly, to actually move the player, we're calling move and slide. In the handle move function, it's pretty basic. If the input vector.x is not equal to 0, then we're going to move toward that direction that the player is pressing. If the player is not on the floor and they're not pushing an arrow direction, we're applying air resistance. And last, if they are on the floor and they're not applying input, we will apply friction. The change direction function is pretty simple. We are just keeping track of which direction the player is moving. It will either be -1 if they're moving to the left, or 1 if they're moving to the right, and 0 if they're not moving at all. For handle gravity, if we are not on the floor, we are simply applying gravity. For the handle jump function, if the user presses jump and they are on the floor, we will apply the jump and we will set the can air dash to true. In the handle air dash, we are checking if the player is not on the floor, they can air dash, and they press the dash key. If all those are true, we will set the can air dash to false because they just did it. And then we will apply the direction they are headed times the dash speed. This last piece is optional and you can take it off depending on the feel you're going for. But essentially, it checks to see that the user is pushing a direction. And if they are, it'll apply an additional jump velocity with the dash, so it'll kind of give you an arc as opposed to just a straight shoot across. Well, I suppose